I stared at my phone screen, thumb hovering over the transfer button. Another $5,000 about to leave my account, money that could have taken me to Greece, a dream I'd nursed since college. Instead, it would fund my brother's 4th round of IVF. The fertility clinic's payment portal waited, cursor blinking like a judgment. My name is Whitney, and I've spent the last 3 years bankrolling my brother Colin's attempts to start a family. It's what good sisters do, right? Especially the single ones with disposable income and no kids of their own. "You're an actual angel," Colin's wife Eliana had sobbed into my shoulder last week. "We couldn't do this without you." Her mascara had left perfect black dots on my white blouse, but I didn't mind. That's what Tide pens are for. "Of course," I'd replied, patting her back. "Family first." The transfer went through with a cheerful ping. I texted Colin, "Done. Good luck tomorrow." 3 dots appeared immediately. "You're the best big sis ever. He's crying happy tears." I smiled, even as I closed the tab showing my canceled vacation booking. The hotel in Santorini would have to wait another year. Besides, what's more important, watching sunsets over the Mediterranean or helping create new life? "Whitney!" my mother's voice carried across the backyard at Sunday dinner. "Come help me with these plates." I found her in the kitchen loading the dishwasher. "Did you hear?" she whispered, eyes bright. "The doctor said this could be their month. The timing's perfect." "That's what they said last time," I reminded her gently, but she waved me off. "You don't understand because you're not a mother." The words stung, even though I'd heard variations of them for years. When you have children of your own. "Mom, I'm 38. "Well, there's always hope." She handed me a stack of plates. "Though you might want to get out more, meet people. That nice man at your office, Stanley?" "My boss, Mom. He's my boss." The sliding door opened and Eliana floated in, all designer sundress and perfect hair. "Whitney, I was just telling Colin how blessed we are to have such a generous sister." She wrapped her arms around me. "Though it must be hard, watching everyone else build their families while you're still—" She trailed off meaningfully. I forced a smile. "I'm happy with my life." "Of course you are, sweetie." Eliana's sympathy felt like sandpaper. "But when you're ready to settle down, I know the most amazing matchmaker." That night, I lay in bed scrolling through Instagram, trying not to think about my depleted savings account. A notification popped up. "Ramona tagged you in a post." Ramona was our second cousin, one of those wannabe influencers who documented every breath. I almost ignored it, but the preview caught my eye. A sunset photo, golden light streaming across an African savanna. 2 familiar figures stood silhouetted against the orange sky, champagne glasses raised. My heart stopped. I recognized Eliana's signature hat, the one she'd bought last spring. Colin's distinctive stance. The caption read, "Living their best life, safari dreams with the cousins." Luxury travel. African adventure. The timestamp. Oh God, the timestamp. 3 days ago, the exact day Eliana was supposed to be at the fertility clinic for the embryo transfer, the procedure I'd just paid for, the one that was their last hope. My hands shook as I zoomed in. There they were, my brother and his wife, toasting the sunset at what looked like a luxury lodge in Kenya. The post had other photos, them feeding giraffes, lounging by an infinity pool, dressed for dinner in expensive new clothes I'd never seen. "Magical week with these two," Ramona had written. "Thanks for letting me crash your anniversary trip." Anniversary trip. The words blurred as tears filled my eyes. Not fertility treatments, not their last chance at a baby. A safari. They'd taken my money, all that money, years of it, and gone on vacation. My phone buzzed, a text from Eliana. "Don't forget to light a candle for us tomorrow. Transfer day." I stared at the message, then back at the safari photos. The champagne, the infinity pool, the lies. Something cold and hard crystallized in my chest. 3 years of canceled dreams, of just one more try, of watching my savings drain away while they— while they... I opened my banking app and started screenshots, every transfer, every date. Then I went to my email, searching for their tearful requests, their promises, their elaborate stories about treatment schedules and doctor visits. Game over, I whispered to my dark bedroom. Game fucking over. Sleep didn't come that night. By 6 a.m., I'd created a spreadsheet tracking every penny I'd given them over 3 years. The total made me physically ill, $47,800, almost $50,000 for their treatments. My office felt like a sanctuary that morning. I closed my door, pulled up the fertility clinic's website, and dialed their number with trembling fingers. "Good morning, Hope Valley Fertility Center," a cheerful voice answered. "Hi, I'm calling about making a payment for my brother's account." I kept my voice steady. "Colin and Eliana, they have a procedure scheduled this week. Let me check that for you." Keyboard clicks. "I'm sorry, I'm not finding any patients by those names." "That's strange. They've been patients there for 3 years." More clicking. "No, I'm not seeing any record of them in our system at all. Are you sure this is the right clinic?" My stomach lurched. "This is the only fertility clinic in the city. I can double-check with our billing department if you'd like." "Please." The hold music lasted an eternity. Finally, the administrator returned. "I've checked thoroughly. We've never had patients by those names. Would you like me to email you confirmation of this?" "Yes," I whispered. "Please." I barely made it to the bathroom before throwing up. "Whitney?" Stanley knocked on the bathroom door. "You okay in there?" I splashed water on my face and opened the door to find my boss looking concerned. "You look like you've seen a ghost." "Worse." I showed him the safari photos on my phone, then the clinic's email. "I've been paying for their fertility treatments for 3 years, treatments that never existed." Stanley's face darkened. Jesus Christ. "I need to look at their social media history," I said. "Everything they've posted about treatments, doctor visits." "Use my office," he said immediately. "Take all the time you need." 4 hours later, I had a timeline that made me want to scream. While I was eating ramen to save money for their procedures, they'd been to Bali, Paris, and now Kenya. Designer clothes appeared in photos right after I'd made transfers for medication costs. Their lifestyle didn't match their salaries, but it matched my contributions perfectly. My phone buzzed. "Eliana, bad news, doctor says we need to reschedule. Can you help with the rebooking fee? About $2,000? I stared at the message until my vision blurred with rage. "Call them out," Stanley advised during lunch. "You have proof." "Not yet." I pulled up my banking app. "I need to talk to someone first." Tony, my accountant, agreed to see me immediately. I spread my evidence across his desk, bank statements, texts, social media posts. "This is fraud," he said flatly. "They've been manipulating you for financial gain under false pretenses. Can you help me trace where the money went? Give me a day." He started typing. "And Whitney, this isn't your fault. Con artists target kind people." That evening, my mother called. "Have you talked to Colin today? He says you're not answering his texts." "I'm busy, Mom." "He really needs that rebooking fee. You know how important this is." "Mom," I cut her off. "When was the last time you actually saw Eliana at a doctor's appointment?" Silence. "Well, they're very private about it." "Have you ever seen any paperwork? Any actual evidence of treatments?" "Whitney, what are you implying?" "Nothing yet." I hung up. My phone dinged with an email from Tony. He'd traced my transfers. They'd gone straight to a travel account and a shopping service. Not a single penny to any medical facility. As I processed this, another Instagram notification appeared. Eliana posting a tearful selfie. Another setback in our fertility journey. So grateful for family support during this difficult time. TTC journey, infertility warrior. The comments flooded in. "Stay strong. Praying for you. You're so brave." I downloaded every receipt, every photo, every message into a folder labeled proof. Then I texted Colin, "We need to talk, tomorrow, alone." His response came quickly. "Everything okay?" "No," I wrote back. "But it will be after you explain the safari photos from your transfer day." 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally, "You don't understand." "Oh, I understand perfectly. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., my place. Come alone or I start posting receipts." I turned off my phone and poured a glass of wine. In my head, I could already hear their excuses, their accusations, their attempts to paint me as the villain. Let them try. I had receipts for every lie, every manipulation, every stolen dream. Tomorrow, the truth would have its day. Colin showed up at 10:15, alone as instructed. He looked smaller somehow, standing in my living room where we'd shared so many tearful conversations about his fertility struggles. "Before you start," he said, "let me explain." No. I laid out the printed photos, bank statements, and the clinic's email on my coffee table. "You're going to listen first." He stared at the evidence, face draining of color. "It's not what you think." "Really? Because I think you and Eliana have been stealing from me for 3 years?" My voice was surprisingly calm. "I think you used my love for you to fund your luxury lifestyle. We were going to pay you back." "With what? The money from yesterday's fake rebooking fee?" The doorbell rang. Colin flinched. "I told you to come alone." I opened the door to find Eliana, mascara perfectly applied, wearing her victim face. "I couldn't let him face this alone," she said, pushing past me. "We're a team." "Like you were a team in Kenya?" I held up my phone showing their safari photos. "During your supposed embryo transfer?" Eliana's expression shifted, just for a second, before the tears started. "You don't understand how hard this journey has been." "Stop." I turned to the fertility clinic's email on my laptop. "There was no journey. You've never been to this clinic, or any clinic. We went to a different—" "Don't," my voice cracked. "Don't you dare spin another lie. I have 3 years of bank statements showing where my money really went. Luxury hotels, designer clothes, first-class flights." Colin stepped forward. "Sis, we needed a break from all the stress." "What stress?" I shouted, finally losing my composure. "The stress of lying, of manipulating me, of watching me cancel my own dreams to fund your vacations?" "Oh, here we go." Eliana's voice turned sharp. "Poor Whitney, always the victim. You think throwing money at us makes you special, makes up for your sad, lonely life?" I blinked. "Excuse me?" "We all know why you did it," she continued, stepping closer. "The pathetic single sister, desperate to feel needed. No husband, no kids, nothing but your job and your checkbook." Colin didn't stop her. He moved to stand beside his wife, their united front now facing me. "You're just jealous," Eliana spat. "Jealous of our marriage, our happiness. You probably wanted us to fail at having kids so you wouldn't be the only barren one in the family." "Barren?" I laughed incredulously. "I'm single by choice. You're childless by fraud." "Watch your mouth," Colin growled, and I barely recognized my brother anymore. "You're just bitter because we have love and you don't." "Love?" I gestured at the evidence spread across my table. "You call this love, stealing from your sister?" "We didn't steal anything," Eliana shrieked. "You offered, every time, playing the big savior sister, holding it over our heads." "Because you lied. You made up medical procedures. You manipulated me with fake tears and false hopes." "Nobody made you write those checks," Colin said coldly. "That's on you." I stared at them, these strangers wearing my brother and sister-in-law's faces. "Get out." "Gladly." Eliana grabbed her purse. "But remember, Whitney, you'll always be the bitter spinster who tried to destroy our happiness. Wait until Mom hears about this." They stormed out, slamming my door hard enough to rattle windows. I stood there shaking until my phone buzzed with a notification. Eliana had already posted on Facebook, "Heartbroken." When family turns toxic and tries to tear you down during your hardest moments, some people just can't stand seeing others happy. Comments poured in immediately. Stay strong. Some people are so jealous. What happened? My mother's name appeared in my notifications. 3 missed calls. I sat down at my laptop and opened a new document. Started typing, Dear family, before you hear twisted versions of what happened today, you deserve the truth. Here are 3 years of bank statements, travel receipts, and proof that Colin and Eliana's fertility treatments never existed. My hands were steady now. They'd beaten me to the narrative, but I had something better than accusations. I had receipts, and I was done being the family ATM. You need to be strategic about this, Stanley said, sliding a coffee across his desk to me. They're playing the victim card hard. You can't just dump everything at once. I nodded, checking my phone. 27 missed calls from family members. Eliana's post had evolved into a full-blown pity party with vague accusations about my mental state and jealous attacks. Tony sent over something interesting, I said, pulling up my email. Remember those charity fundraisers Colin organized for his nonprofit? Stanley leaned forward. The ones you donated to? Turns out some of my fertility treatment money got mixed in with donation funds. Tony found transfers from their personal account to the charity account, then back out to their travel fund. That's not just fraud against you. Stanley's eyes widened. That's charity fraud. My phone buzzed. A text from my mother. How could you attack them like this, during their darkest hour? I showed Stanley the message. See what I'm up against? Start small, he advised. Send your mother just the clinic's email first. Let her sit with that truth before the rest. I composed the email carefully. Mom, I love you. Before you judge me, please read this confirmation from the fertility clinic. Colin and Eliana have never been patients there. Ever. Send. 20 minutes later, my phone rang. Mom? This can't be right. Her voice shook. They showed me ultrasound pictures. Google stock ultrasound images, I said gently. The exact same photos they showed you. Silence. Then, the appointments I drove them to. Check your calendar dates, Mom. Compare them to their vacation posts. I heard clicking, then a sharp intake of breath. The day I drove them to that emergency procedure, there's a photo of them at a wine tasting. I'm sending you something else, I said, attaching the bank statements. This is where my money actually went. More silence, then quiet crying. Oh, Whitney, how much? Almost $50,000. Jesus Christ, she rarely swore. Does your father know? Not yet. I wanted you to see it first. Tony called while I was still talking to Mom. Whitney, you need to see this. Eliana's done this before. What do you mean? I found 3 GoFundMe campaigns she ran before marrying Colin, all for medical treatments. All ended with no explanation once she hit her goals. My hands shook as I logged into GoFundMe. Sure enough, there they were. Different last names, same sob stories, same face looking sadly at the camera. Send me everything, I said. That afternoon, I met with Tony in his office. He'd compiled a forensic report tracking every dollar, every misleading post, every fraudulent claim. It was devastating. What do you want to do with this? He asked. I thought about Eliana's latest post, about Colin's accusations, about 3 years of manipulation. I want the truth to come out, I said. All of it. It'll destroy them. They destroyed themselves. I'm just showing their work. I started with a simple email to our extended family. Bank statements, clinic confirmation, travel receipts, then the GoFundMe evidence, then the charity fund transfers. My phone exploded with responses. They told me they needed $3,000 for medications. They borrowed money from me, too. I can't believe this, Eliana's sister called me crying. She did the same thing to our parents. We haven't spoken in years because of it. Colin tried damage control, posting about misunderstandings, and complex medical situations. But the evidence was too clear, too damning. Then my mother did something unexpected. She posted publicly, "To everyone who's been asking, yes, my son and daughter-in-law lied. Yes, they stole from our family. No, there were never any fertility treatments. As a mother, I'm heartbroken. As a human being, I'm disgusted." The facade cracked. Colin's carefully crafted victim narrative crumbled as more people came forward with stories of borrowed money, fake medical emergencies, elaborate lies. "You did the right thing," Stanley said, watching me process the unfolding drama. "They needed to be exposed." My phone buzzed with a new message, unknown number. "Hi, Whitney, you don't know me. I'm Reese, a former friend of Eliana's. There's something you need to know about her fertility claims, something big. Can we meet?" I stared at the message, heart pounding. Just when I thought I'd uncovered everything. "What is it?" Stanley asked. I showed him the text. "I think this is just the beginning. Are you ready for more?" I thought about all the tears I'd shed, all the dreams I'd sacrificed, all the manipulation I'd endured. "Yes," I replied to Reese. "Let's meet. I want to know everything." Reese chose a quiet coffee shop across town. She was younger than I expected, nervous-looking, clutching her phone like a lifeline. "I should have come forward sooner," she said after we sat down. "But Eliana, she has a way of making people doubt themselves." "I know exactly what you mean." Reese pulled out her phone. "I have recordings from before she met Colin. We were close friends then." She pressed play. Eliana's familiar laugh filled the space between us. "These stupid fertility posts are gold," Eliana's voice said. "People just throw money at you. Add a sad selfie and boom, funded vacation." My stomach turned. "When was this?" 3 years ago, right before she met Colin." Reese's hands shook. "There's more." Another recording played. Eliana again. "Kids? God, no. I'd never ruin my body like that. But playing the desperate to be a mom card, that's my retirement plan." "She never wanted children," I whispered. "Never. It was all a scam. She's been running variations of it for years." Reese pulled up old text messages. "Look at these." Screenshots showed Eliana bragging about manipulating people, planning elaborate sob stories, calculating how much she could get from different targets. "When she met Colin," Reese continued, "she called him her golden ticket, said his successful sister, you, would be her biggest score yet." The coffee in my stomach threatened to come up. "Why are you showing me this now?" "Because she's doing it again." Reese turned her phone around. "She just launched a new GoFundMe. Not fertility this time. She's claiming the emotional trauma of your attacks has left her needing intensive therapy." Sure enough, there it was. A new campaign, Healing from Family Betrayal. Goal, $25,000. "She's already raised $8,000, Reese said quietly. "People feel sorry for her." My hands clenched. "Does she know you have these recordings?" "No, I cut contact when I saw her doing the same thing to you. But last week she contacted my sister about medical expenses. That's when I knew I had to speak up. I took photos of everything Reese showed me, hands trembling with rage. "Thank you for this." "There's one more thing." Reese hesitated. "She's pregnant." The world stopped. "What?" "Not really," Reese added quickly. "But she's planning to announce a pregnancy next month, then stage a traumatic miscarriage, blame it on the stress you caused. She's already bought a fake ultrasound photo." I stood up so fast my chair scraped loudly. "How do you know this?" "She tried to recruit me to verify her story, wanted me to post about seeing her at doctor's appointments." My phone buzzed, a notification from Eliana's GoFundMe. "Every donation helps heal our broken hearts. We just want to move forward and try again for our miracle." "I have to stop this," I said. "Be careful," Reese warned. "She's really good at turning things around, making herself the victim." "Not this time." I pulled up my email. "This time I have proof. I sent everything to Tony first. the recordings, screenshots, evidence of the planned fake pregnancy. His response was immediate. "This is criminal fraud. Want me to contact authorities?" "Not yet," I replied. "First, I need to talk to my mother." Mom answered on the first ring. "Whitney? Can you come over? There's something you need to hear." An hour later, my mother sat on my couch, face ashen, listening to Eliana's recordings. When the last one finished, she looked years older. "I defended her," Mom whispered. "I blamed you." "It's not your fault. She fooled everyone." "What are you going to do?" I showed her Eliana's new GoFundMe. "First, I'm stopping this. Then I'm making sure she can't do it to anyone else. She'll fight back. Let her." I opened my laptop. I have the truth on my side. I started typing, "Dear GoFundMe support. I'm writing to report fraudulent activity on the campaign Healing from Family Betrayal. Please find attached evidence of systematic fraud, including recorded admissions of deception." My mother touched my arm. "Whitney?" "Yes?" "Make it count." I nodded, thinking of all the people Eliana had scammed, all the kindness she'd twisted into profit. "Oh, I will." I hit send. "This ends now." The response was nuclear. Within hours of my evidence reaching GoFundMe, Eliana's campaign vanished. Then her Instagram went private. Then her Facebook disappeared completely. But the internet never forgets. Screenshots of her fraud spread like wildfire through family groups and social networks. People began connecting dots, sharing stories, comparing notes. The dam had broken. "Did you see this?" Stanley forwarded me an email. Someone had compiled a Twitter thread documenting every GoFundMe Eliana had ever created. The total approached 6 figures. My phone rang. "Colin." "What have you done?" he screamed. "They're investigating her previous campaigns." "Good. She's crying her eyes out. They froze her accounts." Maybe she should have thought about that before scamming people. "It wasn't a scam," his voice cracked. "We were going to have a baby. We were—" "Stop lying, Colin. I have recordings of her bragging about never wanting children, about targeting me specifically." Silence. "Did you know?" I asked quietly. "Did you know it was all fake from the beginning?" "You don't understand," he whispered. "She made everything better. My life was so boring before her." "So you helped her steal from your family?" "I loved her." He was crying now. "I still love her." Love doesn't justify fraud. The doorbell rang. Through the peephole, I saw Eliana, mascara streaking down her face. "Your wife's here," I told Colin. "Goodbye." "Whitney, please." I hung up and opened the door. "You bitch!" Eliana tried to push past me, but I blocked the entrance. "You've ruined everything!" "No, you did that yourself." "I'm pregnant," she screamed. "I really am this time. And if anything happens to my baby, it's your fault." "Interesting timing," I said calmly, pulling up Reese's messages. "Considering you already plan to fake a pregnancy announcement next month." Her face went white. "Yes, I know about that too. Just like I know about every scam you've ever run, every fake medical crisis, every manufactured tragedy." "You can't prove anything." I played Reese's recording. "These stupid fertility posts are gold." Eliana lunged for my phone. I stepped back, closing the door between us. "It's over," I said through the door. "Go home." Her screams attracted neighbors. Someone called the police. I watched from my window as they arrived, as Eliana performed her victim routine one last time. The officers, unimpressed, escorted her away. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Thank you for exposing her. She took $12,000 from my mother for emergency surgery last year." Then another. "She scammed my church's prayer group." And another. "I lost my savings to her fake cancer fundraiser." I forwarded everything to Tony, who had contacts in the fraud division of the police department. "This is bigger than family drama now," he said. "This is criminal." My mother came over that evening with dinner. "Colin called me," she said. setting down containers of pasta. He's saying you're having a mental breakdown, that you're destroying their lives out of jealousy. What do you think? She sat heavily on my couch. I think my son helped his wife steal from his family, and now he's trying to avoid consequences. They're good at that. Were. Mom squeezed my hand. We're good at that. My laptop pinged with an email notification from Colin's workplace. Dear Ms. Moore, we are conducting an internal investigation regarding potentially misappropriated funds from our charitable foundation. Our records show several unusual transfers involving your donations. Would you be willing to provide documentation? I showed Mom the email. Oh, God, she whispered. He used the charity? Looks like it. I started forwarding bank records. They're not just facing angry relatives anymore. This is serious. What happens now? As if in answer, my phone lit up with a news alert. Local website, breaking story. Popular social media influencer under investigation for multiple fraud schemes. There was Eliana's face, right there in the headline. The article mentioned Colin, too, referenced the charity angle, quoted anonymous sources about years of systematic deception. Mom read it over my shoulder. This will follow them forever. Good, I said, and meant it. Another text came through, this time from Reese. More women are coming forward. Police want statements. You ready? I looked at my mother, thought about all the tears I'd shed, all the guilt I'd carried, all the dreams I'd sacrificed for their lies. Yes, I replied. I'm ready. The truth was finally having its day, and I was going to make sure it shone bright enough to illuminate every dark corner of their deception. The police station was cold, but Detective Rivera's smile was warm. Thank you for coming in, Whitney. We've been building this case for weeks now. She spread photos across the table, faces I didn't recognize, but stories I knew too well. Eliana's previous victims. 12 confirmed cases of fraud, Rivera said, over $200,000 total, and that's just what we can prove. What about my brother? Mr. Colin Moore is cooperating with authorities. She checked her notes. He's offering testimony against his wife in exchange for leniency. Of course he was. Even now, Colin was saving himself. My phone buzzed, a news alert. I nearly dropped it when I read the headline, Local Nonprofit Executive Terminated Amid Fraud Investigation. That was fast, Rivera commented. Will they press charges? The charity? Almost certainly. Misappropriation of donated funds is serious. I thought about all those fundraisers I'd attended, writing checks I thought were helping people in need. Just another layer of their deception. The interview lasted hours, every transaction, every lie, every manipulation documented in clinical detail. By the time I left, the sun was setting. Stanley was waiting outside. You okay? No, I admitted, but I will be. Your mother called the office. Eliana's been arrested. I stopped walking. What? Tried to flee the country this morning. Airport police caught her trying to board a flight to Bali with fake documents. A hysterical laugh bubbled up. Of course it was Bali. My phone rang. Colin's number. Against my better judgment, I answered. They took her away in handcuffs, he sobbed. My beautiful Eliana. Your beautiful Eliana is a con artist who almost destroyed our family. You did this. You ruined everything. No, Colin. You ruined everything when you chose to help her steal from me. I had no choice. She said she'd leave me. Then you should have let her go. He broke down completely. Please, sis, help me fix this. For a moment, I remembered the little brother who used to run to me with scraped knees and broken toys, trusting his big sister to make everything better. I can't fix this, I said softly, and I won't try. Whitney. Goodbye, Colin. I blocked his number. Stanley drove me home. Want company? No, I need to do something. Inside, I opened my laptop and started typing. Dear family, by now you've seen the news. Yes, Eliana has been arrested. Yes, Colin has lost his job. Yes, there will be legal consequences, but that's not why I'm writing. I'm writing to say I'm sorry, not for exposing their fraud. I'll never apologize for telling the truth. I'm sorry I let them manipulate us all for so long. Sorry I didn't see through the lies sooner. Most of all, I'm sorry to those who were hurt while I stayed silent. This ends now, not with revenge, but with truth. Love, Whitney. I hit send, then opened another email. Dear travel agency, please reinstate my canceled Greece booking. The doorbell rang. My mother stood there with takeout and tears. Colin called me, she said. He's being charged too, conspiracy to commit fraud. Are you okay? She set down the food. No, but watching you stand up for the truth, I'm proud of you, Whitney. Even though I destroyed your son's life, he destroyed his own life. You just refused to let him destroy yours too. We ate in comfortable silence until Mom spoke again. I saw you rebooking your Greece trip. Yeah? Good. She squeezed my hand. It's time you lived your own life instead of funding their lies. My phone buzzed with a text from Detective Rivera. Eliana's talking. Says she has evidence of other schemes. Want to come in tomorrow? Go, Mom said, reading over my shoulder. Help make sure she can't hurt anyone else. I thought about all the victims, all the tears, all the broken trust. I will, I replied to Rivera. First thing tomorrow. Later that night, I stood on my balcony, looking at the stars. My savings account was drained, my family was fractured, and my brother was facing criminal charges. But for the first time in years, I felt free. My phone lit up with one last message, from Reese. You did it. You really did it. Thank you for being brave enough to tell the truth. I smiled, thinking of Greece, of future adventures, of a life unburdened by lies. No, I typed back. Thank you for helping me find my courage. The courthouse steps were crowded with reporters. I clutched my mother's hand as we pushed through them, ignoring questions about my brother and his wife. Inside, the courtroom felt smaller than I'd imagined. Eliana sat at the defendant's table, designer clothes replaced by muted business wear. She didn't look at me. Colin sat behind her alone. He'd taken a plea deal, 18 months of house arrest, mandatory restitution payments, community service. The golden boy brought low by his own choices. All rise, the bailiff called. The judge's voice filled the room. In the matter of the state versus Eliana Moore on multiple counts of fraud. I watched Eliana's shoulders tense as the verdict was read. Guilty, 5 years, full restitution to all victims, no possibility of early release. She crumpled, finally looking my way. I met her gaze steadily, refusing to flinch. She mouthed something that might have been, I'm sorry, or might have been, I hate you. It didn't matter anymore. Outside, my mother spoke first. It's really over. Almost. I checked my phone. One more thing. We drove to my apartment where Stanley waited with a laptop. Ready? I nodded, sitting down to face the webcam. The nonprofit's board of directors appeared on screen, faces serious. Ms. Moore, the chairman began, thank you for helping expose this fraud. Your brother's actions compromised many charitable projects. I know. That's why I'm here. I shared my screen, showing them my bank statement. This is my settlement from Eliana's seized assets. I want to donate it to replace what they stole. Silence. That's very generous, though, the chairman said. But it's not your responsibility. No, but it's my choice. The money was stolen from me first. Now I can choose where it goes. They accepted. The transfer went through. Nearly $30,000 returned to help people who really needed it. Feel better? Stanley asked after the call. Getting there. My phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. I read about your story online. The same thing happened to me. I thought I was alone. Then another. You inspired me to speak up about my own experience with fraud. And another. Thank you for showing us the truth matters. I showed Mom the messages. She hugged me tight. You turned their lies into something good, she said. Speaking of good things, I pulled up my travel app. Want to see my itinerary? She grinned. Greece? Greece, but not just Greece. I scrolled through the bookings. Italy, too. Spain, Portugal. Everything I gave up for their lies, I'm taking it back. When do you leave? Next week. Stanley approved a 3-month sabbatical. Good. Mom's eyes were wet. It's time you lived for yourself. The doorbell rang. Reese stood there with a bottle of champagne. Saw the verdict, she said. Thought we should celebrate. We gathered in my living room. Mom, Stanley, Reese, Tony. People who'd stood by truth instead of lies. A toast, Stanley raised his glass, to Whitney, who reminded us all that courage isn't about being fearless. It's about being afraid and doing the right thing anyway. To Whitney, they echoed. My phone lit up one last time. Colin. Aren't you going to check it? Mom asked. No. I turned the phone face down. His choices aren't my responsibility anymore. Reese refilled our glasses. So Greece? Greece? I smiled. But first I'm writing everything down. Every detail, every lie, every consequence. People need to know these stories. Why? Because somewhere, someone else is being manipulated by tears and guilt. They need to know they're not crazy for questioning it, not wrong for demanding truth. Mom raised her glass again. To truth, we answered. Later, after everyone left, I sat at my laptop and began to type. This is a story about lies told with tears, manipulation masked as love, and the courage to stand up and say, enough, this is my story, but it might be yours too. And if it is, know this, you're not alone. The truth is waiting. All you have to do is choose it. I hit post and closed my laptop. Tomorrow, I'd pack for Greece. Tomorrow, I'd start my new chapter. But tonight, in this moment, I was already free. The truth had won, and so had I.